All right, looks like we got some people coming in. Welcome, welcome. Let's give a few minutes for everyone to kind of pile in here. More people coming in. Welcome, welcome. Everybody feel free to let me know where you're dialed in from in our chat box here. Love to know where everyone's calling in from. I am in a small town right now called Vienna, which is near London, and it is very sunny and beautiful today. So I'm curious if everyone else is having lovely weather like we are here. Got Montreal, Edmonton. Awesome, awesome. Brampton, Vancouver. Hot and sunny in Vancouver. That is awesome. Good to hear. Got Oakville. Awesome. Julia from Oakville. Welcome, welcome. And nothing like a little sun on your face to make the day go a little bit better, that's for sure. So I'm glad to hear that everyone's having a good weather day. Got Fernie, BC as well. Awesome. Welcome, Leslie. Red Deer, Alberta. Thanks, Alan. That's great. Great day in Windsor today. Awesome. Thanks, Michael. I haven't been to Windsor for a while. I'm due for a trip. Awesome place. Winnipeg. Thanks, Dean. Hi, Dean from Winnipeg. Welcome. Calgary. Awesome. Awesome. Love Calgary. This is great. It's great. We got we'll just wait another 30 seconds or so for some more people to pile in. That's a lot of stuff to go through today. I'm really excited to show and tell about Pro Tax and Workpapers. I think today is going to be pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to everyone's engagement and participation. It's going to be fun. All right, I think maybe we'll go ahead and get started now. So again, welcome everyone that's joined. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to have you all here. Very excited to go over Pro Tax and Workpapers today. Show you how to prepare, review, and e-file returns in the cloud, which is pretty awesome. So in case you're wondering, my name is Dustin Schisler, and today we are going to talk about books to tax in the cloud. And so you might be wondering, well, actually, before we get into that, let's just do some housekeeping here. You might see that you have a chat button at the bottom of your Zoom window. Feel free to use that to interact with each other. Let us know, fun facts, say hi, tell us where you're from. If you do have questions that are about the presentation or the demo, please use the Q&A section That way we can have our panelists help answer those while we go through the webinar as well as the demo later on. And so feel free to use the chat like everyone has been, letting us know where they're from, what the weather's like. It's awesome to hear and see. A lot of good vibes in the chat room today. So thank you. Please keep all the questions to the Q&A, and I think this will go pretty smooth. Reminder, you do get 1 CPD credit today, which is awesome. Just a little side note, you do only receive that credit if you watch the live recording. So everyone on this call now, it wouldn't actually be applicable if you watch the recording. So just a little bit of housekeeping there. Yeah, and so I don't, you know, we at Intuit, we talk to customers all the time, and on our books to tax journey, we've talked to a lot of different customers, and these are kind of some of the things that customers like yourselves are saying that they need, you know, from a books to tax solution. You know, we need reliability. It's got to be there. It's got to be accurate and reliable when you need it. Completedness, of course, has to have everything available to you to serve your clients and their unique needs. And of course, efficiency. You know, you got to do all this stuff fast. Maybe you want to get through tax season to take on more clients. Maybe you just want to hang out with family. Any reason that you have to get this stuff done faster, we are here to save you time. And so kind of what does this all mean, really? We just want to get work done, right? You know, it's one place to do it all. QBOA brings that to the table. You know, you have your QuickBooks and you have Workpapers and Pro Tax. It is a complete solution, and that's what we're going to go over today. And it's pretty awesome. So, you know, with this solution, it can help you skip the manual entry, you know, ditch the import-export game, going back and forth between different programs. And of course, you know, the almighty app switch, you know, no more logging into 25 different apps for 25 different reasons with 25 different passwords. It's just, it's a pain. And we're trying to bring everything under one roof to simplify workflows and make it a seamless experience. And you know, with that, a lot of you might feel this pain as well too. But sometimes when you're using a bookkeeping software as well as a tax software, it kind of feels like they're speaking a completely different language. They're not interacting with each other. You know, you have to do a manual import from one to the other and back and forth. A lot of cross-checking can kind of be a nightmare sometimes. But we do believe that with our books to tax solution, books and tax are speaking the same language finally, and we think that that's pretty fresh. So I think what we'll do next is get into some slides. I'll do a brief overview of Workpapers and Pro Tax. Feel free to ask your questions in the Q&A along the way, and our lovely panel will jump in and answer those. And then we'll do a live product demo as well. All right, so we're going to start with Workpapers. You know, you open up Workpapers, there's a couple of tabs to get your work done. The first one up is the year-end tasks and year-end checklist. It's a great place to, you know, customize your firm's year-end workflow. There's easy to read statuses. It's not overly complicated, just simple. It's to do, waiting, or done. Puts this work at your fingertips and makes it really easy to see what the status of certain tasks are without having to pick up the phone, call somebody, go to a different room in the office. It's all right here. You can kind of see it, and makes collaboration in the cloud a lot easier. The next tab in Workpapers is the documents. Under the documents, you can upload documents for that client, secure them all in one place. You can even add links to the documents. It's got folders, subfolders. You can drag and drop things from your computer. You can rearrange the order. A lot of great stuff here, you know, geared for accounting year ends and keeping everything in one place. Speaking of documents, you can do PDF annotations. You can mark up your documents if you like. Most people probably wouldn't draw a smiley face on it like I did, but just for demonstration purposes, you can kind of leave notes, highlight certain areas. And of course, you can leave notes here, like I mentioned on the side. And this is a conversational notes, which is a newer feature that we have in Workpapers. It really kind of like having a conversation. Cloud-based notes attached to where you want them, where you need them. It's kind of like posting on social media. You can kind of make a post like a note, and other people can respond and reply. You can pin them to the top, and these are only for your firm. The client wouldn't actually see these notes, but you can send them notes as well, of course. A lot easier than sending a text, like I said, or calling somebody to ask them, what the status is of something. So super convenient for cloud collaboration. The next tab is review and adjust. So here, you can add more conversational notes, of course. We do have reviewed and prepared flags as well. So now if someone in your firm is reviewing an account or preparing an account, they can mark that work as done. It comes with a little timestamp so you can see when it was marked, reviewed, or prepared. Easy visual to know what the status is of the assets under your accounts, amongst everything else under your accounts. You can also make quick journal entries here as well. And so it automatically defaults them to adjusting journal entries like you would at year end, which is great. There's also a trial balance area here, which I'll show you in the live demo. You can toggle the trial balance view, which is really cool. We'll get into that in a little bit. Next up, we have grouping and statements. You can group your accounts. You can add lead sheets here. You can export them to Excel, which is great as well. So you can kind of group these accounts how you see fit and then export them along with the lead sheets for sharing with the client. Really great opportunity to pull that information out and have it handy for when you speak with your client with like notice to reader and engagement type of discussions. So yeah, that's grouping and statements. And then the next tab has actually been moved out of Workpapers and into the Books to Tax workflow that you'll find in your client file. So from the accountant view, there's a Books to Tax menu, which will have Books Review, Workpapers, and then Income Tax. And so from here on the Tax tab here, you can review your Giphy. So if you're pulling that in from Workpapers, you can take a look, reassign and remap Giphy codes. You can also export your Giphy if you wanted to start a return in another software, or you can click Start Return in Pro Tax to start one in Pro Tax on the spot. We do, of course, support syncing data from your client's books with Workpapers and prepare a return without leaving QBOA for T2125. So you can map those lines as well, along with, of course, the T2 mapping for Giphies. Just a quick, easy way to prepare and file that return. Trying to make getting data in very easy. So obviously we have, QuickBooks clients that you can use Workpapers to pull the data in, like you can see on the screen. You can also upload a Giphy file from another software or a TXT file. You can start a blank return as well. And on the screen, you can kind of review your trial balance before starting the return or jump back into Workpapers to make any adjustments that you need to make. So moving on to Pro Tax side of the Books to Tax journey. This is a view of your landing page for T1. So, you can do a batch action, carry forward all your returns. You can authorize a representative for that return and client. A lot of organization features as well, and filters to search by, as well as a bevy of tax settings that I will show you in the live demo when we get to it. Just a reminder that Pro Tax does work with all your clients. They don't have to be on QBO. Like I showed, you can start a blank return. You can pull data in from a Giphy file or a TXT file, and you can actually import data from other tax software with our import returns option, and then get started creating a return from the landing page here as well. Easy to see where you're working, trying to make things simple. So we do have a workable data entry fields that you can enter data in. It will also pull that information in from your QuickBooks client if they are on QuickBooks. You can, of course, also jump over to the PDF view as well. If you're used to working off of the PDFs, it'll give you a view of what that looks like when you're entering the data, and then you can jump across and see and just verify that it looks how you expect it to be. We can also, these little gray arrows here are really cool. We call them jump links. If you're in a return and you want to go to where the source calculation is coming from, you can click that little arrow and it's going to jump to that field. So you can make an adjustment or check out where that's coming from and make any adjustments that are needed. Our tax preparation engine and calculations are powered by Intuit's tax engine, which you may recall is also powers TurboTax and Profile. We do have a trusted auditor to help you correct any issues on the return and sign off on anything that you need to. I'd also show you a list of overrides as well, and I'll do a demo of that when we get to the live demo section. We do have preparer settings as well. So you can come in here, you can actually enter your rep ID, group ID. It will also pull your business number from QBOA if you want to use that. And there's also a discounter code that you can enter. So you can kind of enter your settings for all returns, and that information will translate over to your authorization form. So like, for example, the RC71. Set it and forget it. You only have to enter it once, and it's there for all the returns. That's going to help you, fly through them a lot quicker than having to manually enter that over and over again. We do, of course, also support family returns in our T1 module. You can link a spouse or dependent for additional tax savings to do a family return. You can also have multiple returns open if they're linked, so you can jump between them and kind of work on both. Go back and forth really quick, create that family return, and then e-file and print when you're ready. Pension splitting optimization is also available in our T1 module. If you are doing tax return for a pensioner and pensionee, if you've linked them together and add the T1032 form, you'll be able to optimize that pension split through our pension split optimization. So on the screen that comes up, you'll see it will show you a suggested transfer. That's one that we've calculated for you as a suggestion. If you're unclear if that's the best tax savings for your client, you can also calculate your own split in the calculator column. That way you're able to see kind of what the best result is and best combined net benefit for your linked pensioner and pensionee employees. Really clear and easy to read savings summary there as well. It's very direct in what you've done and what the savings are, which can translate well to a conversation with your client come year end and when this is completed. One of my favorite tools in Pro Tax is this, the Quick Bar. This is a very powerful tool. It looks like it's just a search bar, but it's a lot more than that. It's more like an action launcher. So if you can think it and type it, you can do it. You can jump to a tax line. You can add forms, letters. Basically, you can use this tool to do anything in Pro Tax, and you could use it to navigate around and find forms you're looking for, or jump to certain tax lines that you need to make adjustments for. Really cool. Great way to learn a new tax software if you're moving from somewhere else and looking to learn how to navigate through Pro Tax. This is an easy way to learn it. You can just kind of type it in and jump to where you want to go, which is really cool. All right, we do also have an option called Quick Mode. This is a little toggle switch at the top. If you turn this on, it will reduce bandwidth usage so that it'll make less calls to our API to do the calculations, which can reduce any sort of lag. So if you're in the country like myself and you have a lower bandwidth on your internet, this is a great option to kind of fly through your tax return without any internet woes. So definitely something worth checking out. I think that's a pretty cool feature. And then we do also have something called Live Auditor, which is a toggle switch as well. So I'll show you the auditor in the live demo, but the Live Auditor is a way to troubleshoot even quicker. It's like real-time diagnostics. It's kind of like having a spell check in a Word document as you're working through the tax return. It'll show you what any sort of error is and what you can do to fix it and adjust it. And with this, we also introduced easy override, we call it. So if there is a tax field that is overridden, instead of having to go to the source and adjust that, you can just delete the override and it will actually restore that field back to its default state. So really cool stuff, another great time saver there. We do also support Foreign Revenue Reporting Management System e-filing for T2. So this will allow you to submit forms needed for submission with our T106, T1134, and T1135. You can view shared documents from within your firm. So anyone in your firm can upload a document, view the document, download it, but they won't be visible by the client itself. And you can also select which ones you want to submit to the CRA and see which ones have been transmitted as well. So it'll give you a chance to review the e-documents before you submit them to the CRA. You can do these with the info returns, or you can do them separately as well. Of course, we support e-file. When you go to e-file, we're going to give you a nice return summary, a real easy to read summary of what happened on the tax return and the total amount, either owing or refund. And here you'll also get a chance to look at the PDF preview. So you can take a look and see and make sure that it looks exactly how you expect it, accurate, complete, has all the information that you're looking for. You can kind of review that before you file the return. We do support e-filing for T3, our T3 module as well. So you can actually pull data from T1s to start a T3, which is really cool. We have a full form set for English Canada in T3 as well. And we have something called T3 Express. I'll show you the T1 Express in the demo section, but basically it's just a way to get through your tax return a little bit quicker. It kind of has most of the information that you would need in one single spot. And then you can kind of go forward from there. So pretty cool. And then moving on, we do also, filing, when it comes to filing, we do also offer web access code filing. So if you don't have an e-file number, it's not a problem. You can actually select web access code. You can leave the code blank and we'll actually get one for you from the CRA, pull it into the return, and then you can transmit it. So another cool time-saving feature, web access code. So not everyone has an e-file account if you're just getting started. We got your back. You can start doing T2s in Pro Tax using web access codes. And of course, you can print your returns. We do have some powerful customization options here. You can choose print sets from CRA for the client, for the office or your firm. You can save these for the client. You can also save them for your firm. So you can have consistent print sets year over year for both your firm and your client, and you can cater them to your client and their unique needs that they have. And like I said, fully customizable for the client as well as for your firm. All right, so I'm going to ask if anyone, feel free to drop it in the chat. Does anyone know what this is? Whoops, I was on mute. Thank you for catching that. I took a sip of water and left myself on mute. But yeah, so you shouldn't need a computer science degree to send a client letter, right? And so this is just kind of a fun way to get that message across. We do have a really, really cool and robust client letter feature in Pro Tax and Workpapers. And this is kind of what it looks like. So we have, templates created by Intuit that are CRA templates, like notes to the financial statement, engagement letters, T1, T2 summaries. If you can think of it, we probably have it there. You can drag and drop these variables from the left-hand side. So you got your books and your tax data right at your fingertips. You can pull these gray variables for your firm, green ones for the client's books, and then you have tax variables as well. Makes it really, really easy to create a client letter, but it also makes it kind of fun. I'm not going to lie, it's pretty fun. And of course, we do have a support team. So if you do need help with anything, feel free to click that Pro Tax Help menu, the blue button. There's going to be a link there to our support agents, as well as a phone number that you can call and speak with us. We're here standing by, ready to answer your questions. If there's any help you need, we want to help you. So feel free to give us a call or start a chat, and we can help get you the support that you need. All right, so it is now time for the demo. Just give me 1 sec, and I'm going to share my screen, and we'll go through Books to Tax demo here. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see my screen. See if anyone in chat can confirm for me before I get started. Awesome. Thank you, Christian. Appreciate it. Okay, awesome. So here we're going to take a look at live demo QBOA Pro Tax and Workpapers, starting here on the client list, just to show you kind of the path I'm taking to get where I'm going. So these are a bunch of clients. Just side note, none of this information is real. It's all just my internal testing account. But what we'll do here is I'm going to pick a client. I'm going to start with Heart and Hardware. I'm just going to jump into their QBO account. You'll see that this is going to give me the accountant view. So I'll see everything looks a little bit different than what the client would see. Most importantly, this Books to Tax menu here. And this is what I was showing you in the slides. We can go to Books to Tax. You can do your books review, of course, monthly books review, and then you can jump into Workpapers for year end. And so here we have our year end tasks. Like I was showing you in the slides, you can kind of drag and drop these around. You can easily mark them off as the status, awaiting to do, done. You can add your custom status. And then you can also pull tasks in, like I mentioned, from other clients. So if you're going through kind of the same steps each time and the same tasks for year end, this is a great way to make it consistent across all of your clients and just pull those tasks in for each of them. Moving over to the documents section, it's a great place to store and keep all of your documents. Like I mentioned, you can annotate these, you can upload, delete, rename them if you want. You can also rearrange the order as well. You can add a client letter from here, or you can pull in folders from other clients as well, similar to the year-end tasks, or create a new folder from scratch. So a lot of good stuff in here. Great place for document storage. And you can also carry these forward as well. So if you see this little purple arrow, you can actually mark that for carry forward or unmark for carry forward and carry that folder forward. Moving over to review and adjust, you can see, like I mentioned, this is the trial balance area. I'll show you this toggle in a second. I just wanted to show you we have our prepared and reviewed flags. Great way to keep on track of which accounts have been reviewed and prepared and are ready to do a tax return. Of course, you can see your adjusting entries and changes, comparison to other years, and make your adjustments. So you could click here to make an adjustment. Then I can go ahead and make my adjusting journal entry here. Grouping and statements, of course, like I mentioned, is a great way to group your statements together in a way that you want them to. And then when you run the report and export these, it'll come out in Excel that way as well. So you got your profit and loss balance sheet, and you can just click here. You can download all of this to a zip file. You can export your Giphy from here, or carry forward from previous year if you're just getting started in your work papers. If you click Run Report, this is where you can export as an Excel document, and that will have your statements all ordered in the way that you've ordered them, in an easy way to view them, along with some lead sheets as well that get exported along with that. Then I'm going to jump over to the Income Tax tab. This is where we can do our tax mapping. So you can see I have my tax lines here, my accounts over here. If I wanted to make an adjustment, I can click this little pencil here. I can change what account it's supposed to be mapped to. And I can go ahead and save that. If your client happened to be a T2125 personal client, not a corporation, you can make those adjustments here as well to self-employed, and then you'll be able to map those accounts as well. All right, and so what I'm going to do next is start my return, and I'm going to go ahead and start that in Pro Tax. I'm just going to click this button. It's really great. Single click from Working Papers is pretty sweet deal. It's going to bring me over here to my Pro Tax screen. So you can see that it's already got my client there because I started from within the client file. It's pulling in the year start and year end date from the QBO file as well, and doing an auto name of the return. And like I mentioned here, we're pulling data in from our QBO Work Papers client. But you can also upload a Giphy file from another software, or even start a blank return from this Pro Tax window. So what I'm going to do, if I can take a look at these codes that I have, and I can take a look at the balance, if this seems like it's correct, I can go ahead and move on. And if it doesn't, I can jump back into Work Papers and make any sort of adjustments that I need to make. Okay, so I come back in here and make my adjustment. Now I'm ready to rock. I'm going to start my return. Okay, and we're back here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue and start this return in Pro Tax. Awesome. So here we have our return started. We have our data input fields here. So you can go through the forms and schedules that are added automatically. Take a look at all the different spots that you need to fill in. And then you can also jump over to the PDF form as well. So you can take a look at what the PDF would look like, make sure that data is in there exactly how you expect it to be. And we do have the PDF form available for each of the forms in the list here. And you can do your data inputs here. The Auditor is a really cool tool that can help you fly through tax season. So you click on the Auditor here, and you can see that there's 34 items that I need to address, and it's broken down by issues, warnings, sign-offs, and overrides. Issues are things that'll stop you from getting e-filed. Warnings are typically things that our tax engine picks up that probably need your attention. And then sign-offs are items that people have signed off on. So if that's an issue or warning, you can click here and sign off on it, as well as the override section that I mentioned earlier. It'll contain all the overrides that are available, not available, that have been taken place on this tax return. And you can come in and delete them if you wanted to. So I'll show you, you can just kind of click on the issue, and it's going to take you where you need to go to fix that, give you a little bit of help on what you're supposed to do. Or you can also use the live auditor, and I'll show you what that looks like on the same screen. So now you can see that it's taken a bunch of items from the same form, truncated the ones that we need to actually fill out, and they're all marked in red, so we know that they're an issue, and there is a description of what you can do to fix that when you're done. So a really cool way to work through a tax return. Like I mentioned, it's kind of like having a spell checker as you're moving along, which is really cool and can make things move a lot quicker. Of course, quick mode I did mention as well. So this will just slow down the calls to our calculation server. and allow you to go through the tax return a lot quicker, because it's not going to calculate every time you jump between boxes on the forms. We have a lot of options under return actions here as well. Obviously, you can print the return, export, delete. You can even share the return if you want, which is a pretty cool feature for cloud-based tax preparation. So you can share this return, and if they have authorization, they can come directly into the return, which is really cool. And of course, you can print. Like I mentioned before, if we want to print a return, we have customization options on both the client and the firm level. So I can select the return that I'm printing here. If I wanted to select specific print sets, I can do that here as well. So let's say I wanted a client and CRA and the office, do all three, I can choose those. I can include the letters that I've created as well, and I'll show you the client letters momentarily. You can also password protect this if you like as well, or you can skip password protection and then print those out. You do also have the opportunity to select which forms you want to print. You can rearrange them in different ways. If you prefer to have, like, say, the S4 at the top, you can do that. And if you hit save for client, it's going to save it like this. And this will be default year over year. I'm going to hit save for client. And then you can go ahead and print. Okay, and then when it comes time to e-file, here we have our e-file account options, or we can use a web access code. Auditor is going to remind us that we have 15 issues that we need to fix before continuing. That's probably just because I'm using a bunch of made up data right now. So, and then of course you can do your web access code if you prefer. You can leave it blank like it says here and request and file in the return if you don't have a web access code, which is pretty cool. On the right-hand side, here's your PDF preview. You can take a look at your T2 return and make sure that it looks how you expect it and it's accurate, complete, just like the data that you put in there. And then when you're all ready to go, you can go ahead and e-file. Another cool feature while we're here actually is you can invoice your client as well. The client that you just prepped their return for, go ahead and click invoice client, and you can create an invoice for that client in their QBO account. It's really cool. All right, so I'm gonna jump out of here for a sec. And I am just gonna jump over to T1, just so I can show you guys a couple things here. So you can bulk action, so you can batch action carry forward your returns. It's a great little dashboard with a filter so you can search by your client name, tax year, statuses. This is available on the T2 module as well. And of course, like I mentioned, you can import returns from other software, and you can create a return on the spot, whether that's T1 personal or self-employed. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, I'm going to open up a return here. Now we're going into the T1 module. You'll see this T1 Express. So this is going to have my worksheet, my e-file info, my T4 slips. Basically, most of the things you would need to prepare a T1 personal return for somebody, all in one spot to try to help you move through your tax return a little bit quicker. I did mention that you can now link a spouse or dependent. So I want to show this here. So I'm going to click that link spouse or dependent. I'm going to choose the relationship, and then I'm going to choose which client it is. And then you can choose the return if you've started one already, which I have. So I'm going to start this one. I'm going to click add spouse to return. All right, and now we have created a family return. These two returns are linked. I can jump back and forth between the returns. So I can take a look at both of them without having to navigate back into my return list, which is really cool. And so what I'm going to do next is I am going to add a form, and I'm going to add a form. You can either click down here to add a new form or letter, or you can use, like I mentioned, the quick bar. So I'm going to go here and type in T 1032, click add, and that's going to add my T1032 form, which is the joint election to split pension income for 2021. And I'm just going to jump over to my other return, make sure that I have that added there because I've been playing around in my demo account today. Okay, so now we have our Heart and Hardware client listed as a pension transferee. And Craig's Landscaping is listed as a pensioner. So if you take a look at this form, we do have the election to split pension income. Like I mentioned, we also have a pension split optimizer. So I'm going to show you that. If you notice this little light bulb that comes up here, it pops up when you add a T1032 form to a family return where there's a spouse and they're both pensioners or pensionees. So you can click on this light bulb. It's going to bring you to our optimization workflow. And so as you can see here, it's going to show you the balance owing or total payables for doing nothing if there's zero transfer. So you can see kind of a baseline for what that net benefit would be. And then we're going to serve you up a suggested transfer based on the information that's been put into the returns and offer up a suggested pension amount to transfer to create the greatest combined net benefit for the two individuals that you're doing the return for. Of course, we also have this calculator column here as well. So if you think that there's a better opportunity to create a higher net benefit, you can try to do your own calculations here. You'll be able to see what that benefit is at the bottom. And so you can use the calculator, use our suggested transfer. It's going to show you a pretty clear chart here of the overall savings for the client and kind of what took place and what is going to be updated in our tax lines here. So really cool feature to help optimize those pension accounts. Okay, a couple more things I want to show you here as well too. I think there's quite a few actually, so let me jump back for a second. Definitely need to go over some tax settings here, some really cool stuff. So obviously you can enter your e-file number, set it and forget it. Speaking of set it and forget it, we have prepare info here as well. So you can enter your information here for rep ID, group ID, business number will get pulled in from QBOA settings, as well as some other information like phone number and name. You can also enter your discounter information here as well, which is really cool. So you can go ahead and save this information, and it's going to carry that over to any authorization form that you need to create. So again, you can kind of set it, forget it, and not have to enter that same information over and over again on each tax return. Of course, we support trust returns and our T3 transmission settings. You can come in here and enter your transmitter number, address, and any contact that you need to add as well. Jumping over to print, this is where you would customize print settings for your firm, not the client specifically. So you can go through different modules and say you wanted to adjust your T2 to look a specific way. You can go ahead and drag and drop these in a different order. And you can go through different years as well too. Choose which print set you want to actually adjust. And then once you get it to how you want it for the firm, you can hit save, and it's going to save that carry over year after year. All right, and then I wanted to spend some time showing you letters. So with letters, there's a few different access points. So you can access it in settings. You can also go to accountant tools. And then as you may have noticed, you can access it from Workpapers as well. For now, I'm just going to go through tax settings just because that's where I was. So take a look here. You will see that we have a whole bunch of templates that are created by Intuit. These are non-customizable, but you can make copies of them and then customize the copies. So that's just a way to keep these CRA type of letters intact. And so what I can do is I'll kind of show you how this works. Okay. So here we have a client letter. Just don't mind me cleaning up a little bit to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. So you can change your fonts, of course, sizes, anything you expect kind of in a word processor. A really cool option too is that you can add a header, which includes your company logo, making it look like a very professional type of letter for your client. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. It's going to pull in my company logo. It's also going to pull in some variables from my QBOA account. So my firm name, address, city, province, and postal code, which is great. And all I did was click one button. So no computer programming here, which is great. You can also add tables as well. So I'll show you this. Click here to add a table. You can choose the size of the table. And once you've added the table, you can actually drag and drop variables in here if you wanted to do so. You can create the table up to 20 by 20, drag and drop variables, and it's got some options here as well. So you can insert more rows, delete the table. You can add a bunch of tables if you want as well, as many as you like. And so super cool. The sky's the limit here as far as letters go. There's a lot more stuff that we're working on to make this even cooler and even easier and better to use. And just for example, say I wanted to sign off on this letter from my firm. I just come over here, drag this over, and boom, it's right there. Like I mentioned too, you can also add these to your print sets, so you can print them out with your print sets and save them as PDFs and email them to your client. We'll go ahead and hit Save Template. Oops. Yeah, now close off. Just a reminder too, we do release new stuff in Pro Tax all the time. And if you want to stay up to date on what we have coming up, or what's been released rather for Pro Tax, you can click this What's New button. That's going to show you a page that has all of our newest releases by dates. So feel free to check that out if you're already using it and curious what we've been up to. You can kind of jump in there and have a look at what we've released and when it came out. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to stop the live demo, a couple more slides to go back into. All right, awesome. So just a reminder, we do have a huge tutorial video library. It's got over 80 videos in it, and we're updating them all the time. Anytime we release a new feature, we will add a how-to video here or a demonstration video. So feel free to come check it out. You can scan that little dinosaur QR code there, and it'll take you right to the YouTube page. A lot of cool stuff in here. And we're always adding more and more to it. So it's a great place to start your journey with Pro Tax and to learn how to use the software even more. Yeah, and just a reminder, like I mentioned at the top of the call, at Intuit, we build our products with customers. We don't usually put anything out in public unless it's been verified by a customer, and we try to make everything customer backed and build alongside of you. So feel free to reach out to me directly if you wanted to be a part of anything in any customer testing or beta tests. Feel free to drop me a line. We're always looking for customers to validate designs and workflows and be part of beta programs. So feel free to reach out if you have an interest in getting involved and being a part of the build of stuff that we build for Pro Tax. We read all of your feedback. Feel free to send it along. That also contributes to what we do. We'd love to hear some feedback on the product. Anyone on the call right now, feel free to shoot me an email. Even if you just want to complain about Pro Tax, shout from the rooftops how much you love it, or just talk about Pro Tax, get to know each other, sign up for some beta testing or customer research sessions. Feel free to drop me a line. I love talking to everyone. I'm an open book, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions beyond this. I'm going to just jump back to the QR code here because I saw Maria asking. So there you go there. We do have an Intuit Accountant CA YouTube account as well. So you can find that if you're having any issues with the QR code, and then go ahead and subscribe to it, and you'll get an update when we release all of our new videos. So again, feel free to reach out to me. I love talking to customers and working together to build awesome things and add awesome things to our product. And drop me a line at any time, give us some feedback. You can also join our QuickBooks Online Accountant Insiders group. A lot of really cool stuff going on there, and a lot of times we'll do some share outs and talk shop within the group as well. So feel free to join us there. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to get your opinion and feedback on the product. And if you have ideas on things that would make it even better, feel free to let us know, because we'd love to hear that too. Okay, awesome. And so I might have went a little fast, but that is going to conclude our webinar today. So you do have a few minutes extra that you'll get back. But again, I just wanted to thank everyone for joining. This was a lot of fun for me. Hopefully everyone else had a lot of fun too. Learned a few things about Workpapers and Pro Tax. Again, if you do have any questions outside of this, I would love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out. And I hope everyone has a beautiful, wonderful, sunny Wednesday today. Can't wait to hear from you. Good luck with everything that you're going to do today and every day beyond today, okay? So big thank you from myself, from Intuit, and the Pro Tax team.